why I really love the public sector. And for me, it boils down to, it is work that matters. And I was thinking a little bit last night as I was preparing about different projects that Accenture's done. And I wanted to share you just a couple samples of work that we've done in the public sector and why I think it's so meaningful. Some of the work we've done just in the Commonwealth. We've done a lot of work with the MBTA for the ride. And for those of you who don't know about the ride, it's basically paratransit service for people who can't take kind of standard transportation. And before we got involved, people were calling to come get a ride. And, imagine your grandma sitting on the curb and no one's coming to pick her up and she's waiting for hours and no one ever comes, right? And so we were able to help them figure out how to fix that. And I think that's really meaningful. We also were a big part of setting up contact tracing with when COVID hit in Massachusetts, as well as all across the U.S. And that's been really impactful work. And we still have a team on the ground that's training all of these COVID contact tracers that are starting. We've also done a lot of work in the child support area. A couple years ago, I got to go and be a part of a simulator that we had created using virtual reality, where people were totally immersed in what it was like to be doing an interview in a home where a child was at risk. And I remember tearing up because it felt so real, and I felt like I was there, having this experience. And that was something we built and took across the country to help train caseworkers in these agencies. We've also done really cool work around, in New York City, there's a 311 number you can call, kind of like 911, but for information. We built a whole platform to get citizen services and to get answers to questions that really help New Yorkers. And I say all this just because I really feel like, for me, why I love working in public sector is because it is work that matters. And sometimes people say, why would you work in public sector? Aren't they back in are they still in the 1970s? Sometimes the answer is yes. But I will say it's really amazing the impact that you can make. Two of the projects that I did in the state were taking an agency off of paper for licensing. And as silly as it was, being able to, I have a good friend who's a plumber, and to be able to tell him, hey, you don't have to fax in an application anymore. You can go online, renew online, check the status online. That was really transformative for that agency and for the people in the Commonwealth who needed to use that service. So anyway, I just wanted to echo that. That's why I do public sector work. It's not always the sexiest work. I hear about some of the stuff we do at other places of Accenture and think, oh gosh, that's so cool. And we do some of that in public sector, but mostly what we do is really work that really matters. All right, so I'm going to pivot a little bit to change.